Want to welcome you to our podcast today called This is Home, Real People, Real Stories. And today I have a great honor of having with us Omid Tebyani. And Omid is an amazing real estate professional that has been in the business for several years. And we are just so grateful that you're here.
I appreciate it, John. Thank you for having me.
So,
it's an honor.
Yeah, you bet. So tell me a little bit about what are you doing right now? What are you seeing in the market right now as to what's going on as far as homes and commercial properties and the things that you're involved with?
You know, what I'm seeing is that there's opportunities. That's what I'm seeing. I'm thinking, I think buyers right now, they're a little hesitant. They have this, interest rate thing hovering over them that they're going, oh, it's too crazy. But I'm seeing a tremendous opportunity. And the way I've seen the cycles, you and I have been around a long time. Seen these cycles many times.
Yeah.
Usually it's a curve, right? Curve, it comes down. And then everyone's, I'm not going to buy, I'm not going to buy. By the time they go, oh, like things are going good, let's buy something.
Right.
It's already on the swing back up.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm telling my clients. It's like, hey, yeah, inventory is low, interest rates are high. Always, refinance,
Right.
I'm like, you blink, you get some good economic data come up. Next thing you know,
everybody else piles
everybody's, now you have
Right.
So I think that's what it is, to tell the buyers and educate them and say, hey, you know what? Now you can, and I'm seeing it. I see properties staying on the market longer. I'm seeing more expireds.
Yeah.
I'm seeing more escrows falling out. So this is a time, I think, to get a good deal, residential or commercial.
Yeah. And so what are you doing right now to help your clients? What things are you doing right now to market yourself and to...
Absolutely. I think it's always bringing knowledge to your clients. I think they really deeply appreciate somebody that I don't spam them. There's a lot of people that are, constantly emailing every week or every 4 days. I have like this weird, just kind of feeling. I feel if the market,
Yeah.
There's a news that they need to know about. There's a new law. Things are changing. So I keep them in the know and some interesting stuff. So I have a big contact data list, but I have a very concentrated sphere of influence that's kind of like my driver of things. And so that's how you kind of know.
Very cool.
Yeah, it's very cool. I'm kind of surprised.
So you must be bringing a lot of value to your clients.
Enough that they still want to hear from me.
Right.
Because I know there are things that I want to push unsubscribe, and I do every once in a while because I like it, but when it's too much or I don't want to be. So I think it's a balance of good information, that they can stay knowledgeable, and timing, and just let them breathe and let them know you're here. At the bottom of every email it says, we couldn't have made it this far without you.
Right.
So when they get good information, I put some listings on there, and that's kind of like my main driver. Like this deal we were talking about earlier, that's coming up. That's from one of those spheres of influence that's on that mailer.
Right.
I hadn't talked to him in like a while.
Oh,
and
my
next
gosh.
thing I know, when I sent him the flyer went out, he goes, hey dude, miss you, hope all's well. I'm like, great. And then I get a call yesterday. He's like, hey, can you come and take a look at this thing for me?
Yeah.
Let's see what you can do. So that's kind of the short of it.
Yeah.
I think keeping your buyers educated, let them know you're looking out for them.
Right.
And I think I make a very solid point of, I'm looking out for you. So don't, and I was telling a client a couple of weeks ago, I'm like, I'm quick to send you the cancellation escrow. I'm like, I'm not one of those that, hey, you need to buy this. And if it's not working, if it's not checking out the boxes, you're never going to be happy.
Yeah.
You're going to be stuck with the payment. So that's
that's great. So really what you're doing is you're providing a lot of value over and above, a lot of information, a lot of knowledge, and ways. You're really an answer to their issues, to their problems.
Correct.
To their challenges.
Absolutely.
All right. So here's what I'm interested to know about. Why are you in real estate? I mean, what makes it so that you have such an insatiable desire to serve your clients? I mean, you do such a great job for your clients. What is it where's that stem from? And what did you do before you were in real estate?
So I was in construction for 19 years.
Uh-huh.
I've worked all over LA, from Santa Barbara, Montecito, celebrity homes to LA, just name it. For probably done almost overall maybe $1 billion in projects that I've been
Wow.
on. If you add all the numbers together, and that was a great experience.
And
Worked
what
with some of
got you into construction?
it was a family business. It was a
Oh,
family
okay.
business. My dad had started it,
Uh-huh.
and they're like, "Hey, you want to jump on?" And I just felt like, "Hey, and he had a lot of experience, so I'm like, "Hey, learn about business."
Yeah.
And we did great. We ended up working on some of the best projects, industrial, commercial, residential, and we weren't really, kind of like locked into one section. And as we went up, we just got higher and higher referrals because we just took care of clients.
Yeah.
We were one of those people that when it came, you come on a job site, you didn't try to nickel and dime people. We stuck to our contract.
Right. Right.
We'd at the end of it, there weren't like 20 change orders. There was always none. Because we kind of stick to. They would send us like, hey,
So you basically gave your word. What you
kept
said,
my
you
word.
kept your
Yeah,
word, right?
right, right,
So, and that's really rare.
right.
A lot of people have issues with that, is that they get quotes, they get bids,
Absolutely.
and then all of a sudden things change and they end up getting a much bigger bill.
Absolutely. And then, it came to a point where my life situation changed. My dad was tired, and I needed to be there for my kids more.
Yeah.
And I decided, this is a good time for me to make that
That
change so I
change.
can have more time with my kids.
Well,
If I
man,
Yeah.
you are the value that you give your clients then are huge because you've built houses that they're living in.
Yeah, I can kind of see through the walls like Superman.
Right.
Like when I look at a home, I can see what's behind it. I can't technically comment as a contractor on it, but I can say, hey, you know what? I can see this. Maybe you can talk to your
Wow.
guy.
I mean, that's huge.
Yeah, I've seen thousands and thousands of structures go up over the years. But yeah, that's why I got into real estate. My kids were a big driver. Family was huge to me, and I want to be there to drop them off. When you're in
Yeah.
construction, you're running
Right.
crew. You got to be at a job site and here or there at 7 o'clock in the
Right.
morning just to make just want to be there. And I'm like, you know what? And I came across some you know experiences that said I have a niche here.
Okay.
And I can really bring this service over from
So
construction.
tell me what those experiences
Well,
were.
well,
If you
it was
would,
how I was looking for a
you can share
house.
one with me.
Sure, and this is not to say anything about any other agents. We all try our best, but I just felt like when I was looking for a home, I felt like I could get better, service.
Right.
And there was a confusion, and not that they were bad. Maybe it was just kind of how I run my thing.
Yeah.
So I think it was that, and I just love land and buildings. I'm like, I'd fall in love with homes and buildings and working with people and really solving their problems. That's
Yeah.
what it was in construction.
Right.
And that's what I, over the years, try to develop the same sense in real estate. And, instead of saying, no, you can't, saying, here are the other ways that you can. And so that's kind of
That
why I
makes a
got
lot
into
of
real estate.
sense.
Yeah,
Makes a lot of sense.
yeah.
Okay, good. All right. All right. Now that is really amazing because now what we're looking at is we're looking at an individual that has a depth of experience that can offer their clients
Hmm.
so much more than really a normal real estate professional just because you've got the edge up on building.
Yeah.
So that's
And,
huge.
and I think to defense of all us agents out there, we all have a specific niche.
Yeah.
Like maybe I have construction, another one has more experience, another one comes from also. It's just what we do with our talents,
Right,
right?
right.
Try to really drive it home for our clients.
Okay, so tell me a little bit about some of the work that you're doing right now and some deals that you're working on. There's first-time home buyers, there's people that are seniors, there's investors, and let's just talk about that for just a little bit. What are your thoughts about first-time home buyers? What's happening in the market right now?
I think they're a little spooked about the interest rates. I think that's what's really holding them back. And to get that, they feel like they need a good down payment. Um, but I think it also is a really good opportunity because they need to talk instead of having to swallow it can't be done. And if they talk to a lender
Right.
and if they talk to an agent, they pick up that phone and make that call and say, you know what, maybe I can do something. Let me see with
Just
what
to
I have,
check out the
just to check
possibilities,
out,
just to
like,
see what it
hey
is.
John, here's how much I make. Can I, afford
Right.
anything? Can you get a loan for me? And this is and oh, hey Omid, I John said I can you're approved for this much. What can I
What
get?
can you get? And I mean, I mean, it's so interesting because I think that the media really focuses on the negative aspects.
Totally.
They just want a lot of clicks.
Yep.
And it's really hard on that because there's 37%. A survey was done a little while back that showed that 37% of people who rent can buy but don't know it.
Right.
It's a
Right.
huge amount of people that can
Right.
buy right now,
Right.
but they think that they got to have 20%.
Right.
Or they think that they got to have the perfect home, or they think that they got to have perfect credit.
Right.
All those myths are just
And
unbelievable.
there's so many alternatives, especially in this day and age. You don't have to be in the city. So many people are still working from home,
Right.
or they have that hybrid um, uh, conditions of work space availability to them. So they can, buy in places where just outside the hustle and bustle, it might be a lot less and not that much of a drive.
Right.
So if they open their mind to it, I think, and that's what our job is, right? To bring that
Yeah.
knowledge and that hand holding and say, hey, you know what?
And you've got a whole team that'll do it.
Yep,
Right.
we
So
do.
I mean, you've got people that can take care of hand holding and make sure. And I
Absolutely.
think that right now, the buyer's side, the buyer agent right now, your day has come.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
everything was focused on listings, and it's great to make sure that you have lots of listings.
Yeah.
But man, right now, the buyer's agent right now, because you have clients that need to make a commitment to you
Right.
with the buyer's agreement,
Correct.
and you got to be really on top of it. But now you have an opportunity to have somebody who's well qualified buy.
Absolutely. And they have so many alternatives. They can become investors or they can become, Airbnb. I mean, there's so many different options that
Yeah.
they can utilize their money instead of throwing away,
Right.
invested in their future and their family's future. So I think it's just telling them.
So give me an example of somebody you've worked with in the recently or in the past. It's first time home buyers.
So right now we have a couple that they want to buy,
Mm-hmm.
and they're not married, but they are together, um, and it's
Do you know
coming
that
up. They're both
did you know that a huge percentage of individuals who buy their first home are not married?
interesting.
Yeah.
Are they like couples not married or
Yeah.
just not married?
Yeah.
Couples that are not married.
Couples that are
That's a
not married.
big demographic
Yeah,
of first time home buyers, right?
it's a huge shift where people are buying a home before they marry.
Right. Right.
And there's this myth out there that you got to be married. You don't have to be married.
Right. Right. And you like the example with them as um, they don't know to buy separate, but should we buy together?
Uh-huh.
Because when you buy together, it gets a little more um, complicated.
Yeah.
So they're dealing with they're qualified, they can do
That's
it.
right. And so the thing about it that we find is that with couples that are not married, all you got to do is put together an agreement that basically says, okay, here's what happens if in the event that that we don't continue our relationship.
And I think that's what they're
And
figuring out.
and I mean, it's amazing what you can do because when you pull your resources together, when you have income together,
Right.
when you have your credit together, when you have all your income and everything together, it makes it so much easier to qualify.
Right. Right.
In fact, we even have roommates. Right now, 18% of all sales that are happening right now are non-familial. That means that
18%.
18% of all sales.
That's a big number.
That's a big number of people who are not necessarily in direct. It's not your traditional family unit.
I bet you 10 years ago that was like half of that.
Right.
Right.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
so today it's roommates buying together.
Mm-hmm.
It's mother and daughter buying together,
Mhm.
father and daughter, father and son.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, it just extends beyond and on and on. where
Mhm.
there's a lot of opportunities right now.
Mhm.
In fact, we have people that are buying homes. They live in one of the rooms and then
Mhm.
they rent the other rooms,
There you go.
and it pays their mortgage.
Totally.
Yeah,
I mean that's a solution right there.
right.
So I mean like that's one of the freshest things. And thank you for the data. I didn't know about that data.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense.
Oh yeah, there's a
Yeah.
huge amount of people that are buying that are, not the traditional. And it needs to be that way because you got to figure it out,
Mhm.
right? It's harder to buy right now than it was when I was buying my first home.
Right.
You
Right.
got to have more income,
Right.
um, and you got to have a little bit more money down. Not a
Right.
ton more. It's
Right.
amazing. I mean, you can get down with 3%.
Right.
You can get into a home. It's not. It's really, do people think that you got to have 20% down? That's just a misnomer on a $500,000 home. That's just not going to happen. That's $100,000. But you can do it. You can do it with 3% down,
So most of the
15,000.
first time home buyers you're dealing with, what's the average percent down that you're seeing?
Probably 5% down.
5%?
Yeah, three and a half to
That's
5.
amazing, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and so the issue is getting away from the tyranny of renting.
Right.
See, if you can't qualify, it's okay.
Mhm.
We're still going to work with you. We still
Mhm.
want you to come to us so we can coach you
Mhm.
and get you to a point to where if you want to, we can get you
Mhm.
there.
Mhm.
But there's so many people right now that can buy, but they don't know it.
Mhm. Mhm.
They have the capability. We have people
Right.
all the time that come to us and the first words out of their mouth are, we saw a house the other day. We know we can't qualify. We know we can't qualify.
Well, wait a minute,
And then all of a sudden within 20 minutes, like, yeah, you're on.
wow.
You can
Wow.
buy.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's amazing. I like
Now,
that.
now you were talking about a senior that before our interview here, before
Now
our
we're going from
podcast.
first time home buyers to long time
Yeah, now
homeowners.
I want to
The other end of the
let's
spectrum.
go to the other end. Yeah.
So, and I think we're dealing a lot with this in today's market. So the story I was mentioning was this client that's a senior. She's up in age. Her husband has passed, and she's in this.
How old is she? About 85, 89?
I would say so, somewhere in
Okay.
there,
All
somewhere
right.
in there.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Enough for her to not be able to go up and down this 3,000 square foot 2-story home,
Right. Right.
and she's kind of stuck in there. And I'm like, she's like, I want to sell Omid, I don't have like, I like you, I want to sell, but the capital gains tax is
It's gonna
killing
be
me.
way too high.
You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
I mean, that property's got to be worth 2.5. They probably bought it for maybe 600,
Mm-hmm.
something like that,
Mm-hmm.
30, 40 years ago.
Right.
So they got a $2 million capital gains that's going to get hacked.
Right.
It's like, I'm sorry, more than that. It's just her.
Yeah.
So that's when I came to you, John. I'm like, hey, John, I got, what can we do for these people?
Sure.
And because in her kind of statements, like, I kind of have to die in this house to avoid this.
Well, and we get clients like that in that situation all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of times they don't have a downstairs bedroom.
Right.
And
Then
so,
what are they going to do, right?
yeah, well, then what they do is they put in a chairlift to go up the
Mm-hmm.
stairs.
Right. Right.
And those are really a pretty good thing to do.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But another thing to do is to rent that home and help them buy another property,
Mm-hmm.
because there's so much equity in that home.
Mm-hmm.
You can put a deal together where both loans would easily carry themselves, where
Oh,
you don't have
wow.
negative cash flow.
Right. So the income from the main home would
Mm-hmm.
also cover the mortgage on the other house.
Correct.
Wow.
Yeah, because
That's
a lot
a
of
great
times,
idea.
yeah, because a lot of times these homes are paid for,
Mm-hmm.
or they have very small loans on them.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so when you go to get another home,
Mm-hmm.
and it's just a matter of putting down a small down payment.
And how does that impact their taxes when it doesn't impact their taxes if it's
Well, they can have the deductibility on the home they're living in,
mm-hmm.
but not on the home that they're renting.
Right.
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 But the key is that they don't have to worry about the capital gains, so that
Mm-hmm.
when they decease, at least they get the stepped up basis points.
Right. So we're gonna have to pay that lady a visit together.
Yeah.
Yep.
You might want to do
Yeah.
that, and also think about doing reverse mortgages.
Mm-hmm.
Where she can stay in her home if that's where she wants to stay,
Right.
and then have some cash to be able to live on that.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. Well, the idea was to kind of downsize, but yeah, that's
Yeah.
definitely one of those um, places in real estate I love to bring solutions for. And that's what it's about, talking to people and seeing what their problems are and how you can bring a solution to them. And I don't always have the solutions,
Yeah.
like I'm like, God, I really want to help this person. So what do? I go, John,
Yeah.
the first, thing when we met last time, I'm like, John, what are we going to do with this thing?
Right. Got to figure it
Right.
out. Yeah.
Right.
So tell me a little bit about your commercial business, about your investors.
So, my commercial business developed when I got into real estate originally. Um, a lot of my clients that were in construction came over with me, which
Hmm.
I'm very grateful to them.
Yeah.
I mean, their trust in me, because at that point they all had brokers for many years before me. They were already doing those constructions, but they just knew kind of like my ethics and how I deal with business. So I'm very grateful for them. So right when I got into business, people were still trying to like put their open house signs. I got thrown into like residential land and like an industrial property, and just it just I was surprised. Like my broker was going, I was maybe in the business for 3 4 months, like, what are you doing? Like, you can't just do this stuff. I'm
Yeah.
like, well, you know what, okay, well, get me the help I need, I'm sure. So I started partnering up with other commercial agents. I'm like, hey, I got this deal. Yeah, you have to give a big cut, but you learn a lot,
Right. Right.
and that's you pay the piper,
Yeah.
you got. And I dealt with some amazing brokers. They know their stuff, and they were able to help me with multifamily, with retail, with industrial, learning how to do an LOI. And so that's kind of how it started. And they say in golf, like, when you're starting to play golf, don't take out your driver, learn how to play. And in golf too, I was like, well, no, I'm going to take out my driver first, like, if that's going to be,
Yeah.
my learning curve, I want to learn that right away.
Right.
And so over time, I kept getting commercial clients, and it slowly, but I was still doing a lot of residential.
Hmm.
But the demand from my clients were there. I think they liked how I was interested in what they want. I was interested in them making money. And I can say, honestly, I look at every single client that's worked with me, they've all made a lot of good money, and that's a very good feeling.
Yeah. That's
Um,
huge.
and so over time, as I'm like, okay, I'm doing residential, I'm doing commercial. And so I'm like, why don't I start a team, a group where people can come to for both.
Yeah.
And it doesn't mean I want to like hog anything. It means like, and I don't know everything
You
in
want to serve your
commercial.
clients.
No, I don't think any commercial agent knows as best as you're everything in commercial. And that's why it's great when you collaborate. I have some really amazing um, commercial brokers that, if it gets into complex situations, if it gets into, we bring them on board and we collaborate with them, because we
Yeah.
want everybody to win. We want everybody to, fair. There's
See, that
enough to
makes a
go around for
lot of
everyone.
sense.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense.
Mm,
I like that.
yeah.
So tell me a little bit about what are you running up against when it comes to interest rates? What are some of the things, some of the objections that people are bringing to you?
Well, I just did want to plug in that the end of that residential and commercial deal was that I ended up starting a company called Resscom Group,
Ah,
which
very
we're
cool.
which we are growing right now. I have a couple of agents now, and we really hope to bring this white glove experience to both commercial. I just want to plug that in real quick.
Oh, excellent.
Going back to interest rates, um, I think there's a magic number. I think
Yeah.
there's a magic number that will get the market going,
Okay.
and I think it's 6.
That's 6.
I think it's 6.
Okay.
I think once we start getting close to that number, I think, yeah,
Things will
hold,
pick up.
hold on to your hat. Yes,
Yeah.
I think and that's why I think this is a really good time to buy.
Oh, no question about it.
Here you come with the news where they're saying, oh, labor market's strong and this and that, and they don't drop the interest rates. And then the next day it comes out, it's terrible and it didn't work in. And I think we're very on verge of,
Yeah.
something's got to change.
Yeah. Well, I mean, right now it's 6.75, 6.5, 6.25. You can get that for FHA financing.
Hmm.
And the rates are there. The thing that's interesting is the difference between 6.75 and 6.
It's psychological.
Yeah, the monthly payment is like minimal,
Right.
right?
Right.
But it's psychological, and the facts are is that rates have been where they're at now for the last 30 years on average.
Right.
So people are going, well, it's going to go back to 3%. It's not going to go back to 3. I don't think it will be. I
No,
think
I
it's
don't think so
hard
either.
pressed that we'll have to
Hopefully
do
nothing
that.
will happen that it'll have to go back to that, because it's going to take a really big deal
Yeah,
or something like that.
big shock
So
to the
I
system.
agree, but people also don't know that during Reagan's administration was it 19%, 18%?
Mm-hmm.
That's huge. I mean,
Yeah,
there was 12% days.
right.
There was a
And people were still buying homes,
so
and so it can be done.
so I mean, it's not that bad, but I think, and I don't know why the 6% is psychological. Like if
Yeah,
it starts hovering around there, I don't know.
get a lot more action.
Yeah, a little more.
One other question I want to ask you about too. You're really an expert. I've really enjoyed being with you today.
Appreciate that. Back at you.
Tell me about AI. What's that been doing for you? How are you using that in your business?
Okay, so that's a really good question. Thanks for bringing it up. I went to a seminar at our regional MLS. That was 2 years ago.
Right.
And
you're with Keller Williams in Calabasas.
yes, I'm with Keller Williams Calabasas.
Okay,
yeah,
great.
I've been there for coming up on 13 years.
Great,
Yeah,
great office.
yeah.
Great.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Enjoy working there very much. Great
Yeah.
crew. So we went to this seminar at the MLS, and it was about AI. And you can sit through a lot of things, but there's something sticks in your head out of everything they say. And one thing that stood out in my head was the people that were talking about AI and for us how to use it. He said a lot of agents are going, hey, is AI going to take over agencies?
Yeah, right.
Is that coming? And I really like what the guy said. He goes, no, AI will not replace agents, but it will replace agents that aren't using it. And I think
like
that's
that.
And it struck really deep
pretty
with
profound.
me, right?
Yeah.
And after I heard that, we heard about prompts and how to do correct prompts. It was a good class, but it's brought a revolution. I mean, like when we write emails now, when I write emails, you can structure it any which way you want, to a first-time homeowner, to a complex investor, to a corporate owner. You don't have to have a staff of writers. I mean, it would help, and some people do, but it's just made things, underwriting. You can get an idea of underwriting.
Right.
You can get, there's a plethora of information just at your hands, which I think is amazing. And it's not just on the agent side, it's also on the consumer side. They can do the same thing.
Right.
And I was curious, has it affected the lending?
Well, a lot of people, when we send out what their home is worth, the values of home, it gives people a lot more edge on what the market's going to do, what it's doing currently. And so what that means is that the agents and lenders really need to be up on their game with it, because consumers know a lot more than they used to. All they have to do is go to chat. They don't have to go to Google anymore. They can go to chat and get everything they need. Right. And more.
Right. And are you seeing that when you guys send a home evaluation, are the homeowners going like, nodding, going, those numbers are good, right?
You bet.
Yeah,
you bet.
that's great.
Yeah.
That's great.
Well, Omid, it has been a pleasure.
Thank you.
Now,
Thank you for having me.
What would you say if you had a big microphone, a megaphone, and you could shout and everybody would listen? What would you say?
You know when is the best time to buy? 5 years ago.
Right.
So make sure you're one of those that bought now, so you're not saying that 5 years from now. Right.
That's right.
So invest. There's lots of opportunities out there. And I think it's a good time to really get yourself in a good position in real estate.
Very cool. Very cool.
Thank you.
All right. You got it. You got it. Well, thank you very much for listening to This Is Home, Real People, Real Stories. I'm John Mallett. We're here for you. DM us if you have any questions, if there's anything we can do to help. Omid is amazing. He does a fantastic job for his clients, and he has an extremely well, highly rated business practice that he uses for his clients. Highly recommend that you work with Omid and Keller Williams of Calabasas, and we'll look forward to seeing you on our next podcast.
Thank you, John.
Omid, can I take you back to the very, very beginning when you said that you have a very high unsubscribe rate?
Mm-hmm.
I think you meant to say you have a very low unsubscribe rate.
I did.
Yes.
You're right. Yes. Thank you.
No problem.
Thank you. And John, you made it look like so streamlined. Thank you. That's exactly what I meant. Yeah, you want me to just do that?
Yeah, just tell that story again in like 1 or 2 sentences.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. So Omid, tell me what happens. Why is it that people want to use you? I mean, give me some examples. I'm just amazed at how people are more or less flocking to you, which is really amazing.
I appreciate it. It all comes down to servicing your clients. I think on almost all my reviews, and when you look up my name and you add reviews to my name, it's just Yelp, everything's 5 stars. And like I have a sphere of influence on that I send mailers to, and I make sure this information is pertinent to what's going on or maybe coming up.
Mm-hmm.
And they really like that. They like that I keep them in the know, what to look out for. Obviously, we send them properties that we've listed or sold. But one of the things that I know I'm engaged with my clients and my audience is that I have a very low unsubscribe rate.
Oh man.
Yeah.
That's the golden goose. I mean, that's the goose that lays the golden egg, man. If you have that, you're in great shape. You must be giving content of value.
Absolutely. And every time it comes, it goes, average industry rate is this much. And so I'm glad I'm able to, provide that service and just be very authentic. I like being authentic with my audience and my clients.
So Omid, in ending here, how do people get a hold of you?
They can reach me on my cell phone. Do you want me to tell the number? 805-207-6713.
Mm-hmm.
We have a great website, omid@omidtebyani.com or resscomgroup.com. They both go to our website.
Okay.
And they can email me at omid@omidtebyani.com.
Okay, great.
Yep.
Very cool.
Thank you.
All right, man.
Thank you, John.
You got it.